Welcome back to the Cop End podcast. In this episode, we're going for a solo one. The lads are a bit busy this week. As you can tell from the title, I'm going to be going through my starting 11 and some subs and cult heroes from 2000 to 2009. I came into the year 2000 at 4 years old, so a really big time for me growing up, getting into football and finding a love for Liverpool Football Club. So, where better to start than in goal? I think an obvious one, Pepe Reina. 134 clean sheets in 285 Premier League games, which is an incredible stat, nearly 1 in 2. And that led him on to winning the Golden Glove 3 consecutive seasons from the 05-06 season to 07-08. And obviously saved 3 massive pens in the 06 FA Cup final against West Ham. Yeah, for me, solid choice. I don't think there's really many other options, especially with that sort of length of service during that time. Right back, we're going to go with Steve Finnan, Mr. Consistent, a bread and butter right back, and for me, massively underrated, especially considering in the years after he left, how much we actually struggled to find a half-decent right back. Moving into the middle of the pitch, we are going to go with Big Sammy Hippier, absolute bargain back in the day for 2.6 million, went on to captain the Reds for a couple of seasons before Gerrard took over, 35 goals from centre-half in 464 appearances. Solid centre-half and gets the odd goal. Next to him, I'm going to go with Daniel Agger. Maybe a bit of a controversial one. We'll get onto that later. But again, another solid centre-half. Absolute hammer of a left foot. Unlucky with a few injuries, but, you know, he's got "You'll Never Walk Alone" tattooed across his knuckles. Absolute legend. Moving across to left back, and another one that you might find a bit of a strange one. And you might think I may have chose someone else, but just wait for that. We've got Fabio Aurelio. In this area, we really did struggle at times for a decent left and right back. And I think it makes you realise actually how lucky we have been in the last couple of years with Rabo and Trent. Absolute wand of a left foot. Scored a few unreal free kicks. Those to mention are the United one and the Chelsea one. Again, though, injuries troubled his career. Makes you think, what could have been? Moving up the pitch, actually, I should have mentioned I'm doing a standard 4-4-2. None of this sort of woke nonsense with the false nines and all that rubbish. We're going 4-4-2. Nice and simple. Everyone knows where they're playing. We're going to go with Garcia. Not a big goal scorer. Only 30 goals in 121 games. But he was almost like a Coutinho before Coutinho. A little magician. Gets in and out of those tight spaces quite well. And he may not have scored many goals, but he did score some huge goals. That volley against Juventus and the ghost goal against Chelsea on the way to Istanbul. I want to know your thoughts. Did it go in? Did it not? I guess we'll never know. In the middle of the park, we're going to start off with Xabi Alonso. The lad played in his slippers. He was elegance personified, and his range of passing and vision were absolutely incredible. He even scored twice from his own half against Luton and Newcastle. I also had the pleasure to watch him play in Munich a good few years ago now. It was against RB Leipzig when they were sort of up there at the top of the German league. And yeah, he was unbelievable. Just ran the game from pretty much the centre circle. And I think Munich won 3-0 on the night. Then next to Xabi, who else other than Captain Fantastic? The ultimate player and leader for me. He dragged bang average Liverpool teams to places they should never have been. And for me, that Istanbul second half and extra time performance has got to go down as one of the all-time best performances you'll probably ever see. He played all over the pitch, ended up at right back, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And don't get me wrong, in that whole debate of Scholes and Lampard and Gerrard, yeah, those two were great players, but I don't think either of them could do what Gerrard did. Whereas I think if Gerrard went into their teams, he could have done exactly what they did, if not better. And for me, Carragher settled the debate when he said that Ferguson and Mourinho both tried to sign him when they had Scholes and Lampard. And also Mourinho tried to sign him, I think, on 3 different occasions. So that tells me all you need to know. He's, forever going to go down as probably the best Liverpool player ever. Even with the crazy stats that we've got with Mo Salah now. But I just don't think you get a better centre midfielder. On the left wing, John Arnorisa, the man you probably thought I was going to put at left back. But again, in this era where we did struggle for a mainstay at fullback and on the wings, This man was a bit of an inspiration for me as a kid, which might sound strange, especially when I grew up watching the likes of Gerrard and people like that. I grew up playing left back and left wing, so when I was watching Liverpool play, I always watched with a bit of intent that left side. As I think any kid does when you're watching your team, you always put a bit more intention on the position that you play, just to see how they do things, how you can potentially learn things. But the way this man hit a ball was absolutely frightening. He had a rocket of a left foot. You can't forget that free kick that he scored against United at home when he ran off halfway down the pitch with his top over his head. That was like his signature celebration. Little knee slide, top over the head. And after seeing how he struck a ball, that's all I wanted to be able to do at one point when I was a kid growing up. So the amount of times I go out and kick a ball with my dad and literally just try and hammer the ball like he did. And it got to a point where recently, when I was playing as an adult, the team I was playing for, they would literally part like the Red Sea in training as I wound up to hit a shot. So, yeah, big inspiration for me back in the day. Moving to the two strikers up top, I think this one is a pretty easy one in this time of Liverpool. Fernando Torres, absolutely massive signing when he came in at the time and unstoppable on his day. Great partnership with Steven Gerrard as well, especially when he moved up into more of a 10 role later in his career. Unfortunately, those hamstring injuries came along, brought an end to his career at Liverpool, and it was a pretty disappointing one at that because he never really came back the same after those injuries. And somehow we managed to get 50 million for him to Chelsea, which essentially funded the purchase of Luis Suarez in January 2011 in that same transfer window. Alongside him, we're going to go with Michael Owen. And I actually think a lot of people forget just how good he was, which I don't think's helped by the fact that obviously he went on to Man United and he's just a nationally hated pundit. But he did have some awful injuries, especially once he got to Newcastle, and that pretty much ended his career. He played like dribs and drabs, obviously went on to United and won the league, but you can't forget that from 1998, he was our top goal scorer every season he was at Liverpool, and he won the Ballon d'Or at just 22. He was phenomenal back in the day. And all you have to do is watch some of those old videos, what he did, especially on an international level as well. I don't think we forget how good he was. And it would have been interesting if he hadn't got the injuries just to see the levels he potentially could have got to. Now, on the bench, you're only allowed 9 substitutes in a Premier League game, but I've got 10. And it's my podcast, so unlucky. I've got 10. On the bench, first of all, we've got Jerzy Dudek, and I think Istanbul is enough of a reason to have him there. He saved 2 pens in the shootout, and that double save from Shevchenko was magical. I don't know how it managed to not go in, still to this day. I also still can't understand Shevchenko's penalty, but that's a completely different topic. I think he just flapped it completely. Next up, we've got Jamie Carragher. This is the one that I think everyone obviously expected me to put at centre-half. Obviously, 737 games for Liverpool, which is unbelievable for a local lad. But with Agger in there instead, I was going purely on ability, not from just a nostalgia point of view. Obviously, Carragher was a great centre-half, a great player, but I just think maybe Agger edged him slightly on his day. Then we've got Martin Skrtel, absolute animal, shaved his head, even though he could grow a decent barnet. Mental, but him and Agger, pretty solid to be fair. Then we move on to someone you may have thought I would have had at left wing, which is Harry Kewell. Unfortunately, very injury prone. Again, belter of left foot. It's that clutched left foot every time. But, you know, what could have been? Who knows? Then we've got Momo Sissoko. Could have been an absolutely unreal centre mid, but again, injuries. We had that sort of time where we had these players that could have been great players, but unfortunately injuries stopped their careers. We've got Javier Mascherano, a little beast, all over the pitch. Love the good tackle, like a little terrier all over the place. We've got Didi Hamann, changed that second half in Istanbul. Solid German centre mid. Then we've got Emil Heskey. Obviously that Heskey and Owen partnership was brilliant in the early noughties, and I don't think it gets him enough respect as it should. Dirk Kuyt, his work rate was second to none. Loved the big goal too. Loved scoring against United and Everton. I think he actually had the record at one point for the shortest distance hat-trick. I think they were all inside the 6-yard box. Mental. And then we've got Djibril Cissé. Had it really rough, to be fair to the lad with the leg breaks, but scored his pen in Istanbul and scored in the FA Cup final. Big goals, and I think that's why he deserves to be on the bench. Again, another player that, what if, but injuries happen. We can't do a lot about them. And then I've just got some cult heroes. Obviously, Djimi Traoré. Looking back now, hilarious to watch at times, but at the time, horrendous to watch. But what a game he had in Istanbul. 120 minutes and solid. And obviously there's that meme now where we look at all the players that haven't won a Champions League medal, but Djimi Traoré has. And then we've got Cinema on goal. Came off the bench against Olympiacos, immediately got us back in the game. Didn't really do it in the end, but, you know, big moment for a player. I think he was only like 20 at the time. And then to go along with that, we've got Neil Mellor. That lovely cushioned header for Gerrard to bang one home. That important third goal against Olympiacos to get us through. And obviously, that 90th minute winner against Arsenal. Absolute thunderbolt. And then, final one, we've got David N'Go. Not really much to say about this fella. He was a striker during a pretty difficult time and never really hit the ground running. So, that's my starting 11, bench, and some cult heroes. Let me know what your starting 11 would have been from the 2000 to 2009 timeframe. Love to know what you think about my starting 11. And yeah, if you enjoyed this one, drop a like. If you're new, subscribe, and you'll never walk alone.